Most Texans remember these news photographs of the megaborg burning out of control in the Gulf of Mexico, releasing 4.6 million gallons of toxic crude oil. What you may not remember is a smaller story, the first open sea application of oil-eating microbes to help clean up the mess. Microbes with a natural appetite for oil live everywhere in the environment. They're nature's recycling units, capable of eating toxic oil and digesting it into byproducts, which are then safely consumed by marine life. Researchers have collected microbes from all over the world and mixed them together in combinations which will address nearly all toxins in oil pollution. They're grown in a catalytic solution to reproduce quickly until trillions are available to be packaged, stored in a powder form, and applied when needed to help clean up sensitive environmental areas. Microbe research attracted the attention of Texas Land Commissioner Gary Morrow, who for years had been the state's strongest proponent for clean beaches. The Texas General Land Office funded a test of the microbes in the fall of 1989 to learn more about them.
The test is designed to show the efficiency of using a biological process to remove oil from the environment, especially oil that's on the surface of the sea.
First, oil was released into a controlled pond. Next, microbes in a powder form were scattered over the top of the oil with an ordinary flour sifter. Within minutes, the oil slick began to disappear as the microbes did their work, releasing byproducts which are safely edible by marine life. Shrimp, which had been placed in the control tank, began to rise to the top and nibble on the microbe byproduct as it slowly sank to the bottom. Once the oil had been consumed, the microbes began to die off due to lack of a food supply. The microbe level in the ponds quickly returned to normal. Water samples were taken for analysis by Lower Colorado River Authority experts and later reported to be non-toxic and effective. Then the megaborg, loaded with 38 million gallons of crude oil, caught fire. For several days it burned out of control in the open Gulf of Mexico. Commissioner Morrow and the Land Office pushed for and finally won the right to use this potential disaster for the first open sea testing of the oil-eating microbes. The powdered microbes are mixed with water, then applied using standard firefighting equipment. Cost is about 1/10 of the price of current spill response techniques. Later in Houston, Commissioner Morrow and Texas Water Commissioner Buck Wynn announced the results.
If you can believe your eyes, we had a great success. And if you can believe the scientific results of our small-scale application test, we're on the verge of a major breakthrough. We have absolutely no evidence that there are any harmful side effects from these microbes. It's time for us involved in oil spill response to put bioremediation at the center of our oil spill contingency plans.
And when you look at the tools we presently have to work with, booms, skimmers, dispersants, and absorbents, bioremediation stands out above all of them. Because these naturally occurring microorganisms appear to degrade significant quantities of oil in a startlingly short period of time, and because we have yet to identify any harmful side effects from the products used, I am persuaded that this technology can be developed and used as a valuable weapon in our arsenal to deal with future oil spills.
Little did the two officials know that in about 2 weeks they'd have to make good on their promise. A barge filled with heavy crude was struck by a ship and began leaking its contents into Galveston Bay. This time it was not the open beaches that were threatened, but the sensitive marshes and breeding grounds of many aquatic birds and other marine life. As oil flowed into the marshy areas, cleanup was begun, but workers quickly found standard skimmers, booms, and sorbent materials hardly worked at all. And just walking through the wetlands can harm the grasses almost as much as the toxic oil. Dispersants could not be used because they also were toxic to both wildlife and plants. Application of microbes was again authorized, this time in marked zones, so specific conclusions could be drawn about their effectiveness. Microbes were sprayed with hoses from boats offshore, minimizing trampling of the marsh grasses. Just 6 weeks later, the results were evident. In areas where bioremediation was used, grasses flourished and the mud banks had returned to normal. Small living creatures returned to the area. All signs of shoreline discoloration had disappeared. In those areas left untreated, marsh grass was brown and dead, and wildlife absent or endangered. At a bioremediation symposium at Lamar University, Commissioner Morrow commented on the results.
I hope today's symposium puts all Texas movers and receivers of oil on notice that at least the General Land Office, which manages the 4 million acres of submerged lands, expects bioremediation to be part of any oil spill contingency plan they have.
The evidence presented should be enough to make anyone's head spin. The backdoor deals, the corporate fascist takeover of the American economy using the worst environmental disaster as a catalyst, the media blackout, the deadly toxic chemicals being sprayed, the high levels of methane, the people getting sick, the crops dying. Things are bad, and what's worse, it seems as if our own federal government is completely incompetent in helping stop this disaster. But after reviewing this evidence, it is clear that the federal government and BP want nothing to do with cleaning up this spill. Crises lend themselves to drastic political change, and this is nothing more than a sacrifice for a political agenda. It's like a game of chess. If you're still watching this and are labeling the claims made in this film as conspiracy, I would immediately respond with, yes, it is a conspiracy. People at the top of the political, corporate, and banking interests are conspiring to get their agenda across at any means necessary. We the people are being poisoned, our livelihoods are being ruined, and no one in power is doing a thing to fix it. They're not incompetent. They know exactly what they're doing, and now it's time for us to do something. Americans who have been apathetic about politics until now must no longer remain silent. Speaking out is no longer enough. Yelling at our television or our radio is not enough. Yes, we must spread the word, but we must also take back our country and our corporations. We must run for office and gain political power so that when enough of us are in, we can indict all of these criminals who call themselves public servants. Then, and only then, will we be able to be a free society.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
We gotta take the power back! Damn! Here's the plan, motherfucker, go Sam's, get back, I know who I am! Raised up the ear, drop the style like clear. It's the beats and the lyrics they fear. The rage is relentless. We need to move it with the quickness. You are the witness of change and the counteract. We gotta take the power back.